Monday, September 8th, in Salem is anything but ordinary. Old rivalries threaten to explode, dangerous schemes teeter on the edge of discovery, and unsettling news rocks one family to its core. Loyalties will be tested, tempers will ignite, and even heartfelt apologies may carry consequences no one expects. From battles for power to secrets that refuse to stay buried, this Monday sets the stage for twists that could change everything. What really lies ahead for Salem? Let's dive into the storm and find out. When it comes to Salem rivalries, few carry as much firepower as the one between Xander Cook and Philip Kyriakis. Their animosity is rooted in years of betrayal, bruised egos, and an endless tug-of-war over power and respect. On Monday, September 8th, that tension finally detonates. Philip storms in with one mission: to reclaim his rightful legacy and put Titan back under his firm control. He's polished, calculating, and armed with the confidence of someone who believes his family name alone should silence all opposition. But Xander has heard that argument before, and he's tired of being treated like the expendable outsider. To Xander, every insult and every reminder of his shady past is nothing more than fuel for the fire raging inside him. Their verbal sparring is vicious. Philip twists the knife by mocking Xander's history of failures, painting him as nothing more than a thug dressed up in a suit. He sneers at Xander's desperate attempts to belong in the Kyriakis dynasty, suggesting he'll never be more than a muscle for hire. Xander's face hardens, his jaw clenched with fury. With biting sarcasm and barely restrained rage, he retaliates by questioning Philip's judgment, mocking his repeated disappearances, and even throwing doubt on Philip's strength as a leader. The atmosphere grows so tense it feels combustible, as though one wrong word could send fists flying. It's no longer just a shouting match, it's a duel for dominance, for Titan, and for their place in the Kyriakis hierarchy. The stakes couldn't be higher. Whoever blinks first risks humiliation, and in Salem, humiliation can be fatal to power. Monday's blow-up may not just be a fight between two men, it could be the spark that ignites a new corporate war, one destined to ripple through every corner of Salem's business world. While Xander and Philip are busy tearing each other apart, Gabby Hernandez is quietly orchestrating her own dangerous dance in the shadows. She knows better than anyone that chaos is an opportunity, and she intends to seize it before the brothers realize they're both being played. On Monday, Gabby steps into her element. She flashes that charming smile, sharp enough to disarm, but behind it lies a razor-sharp mind calculating every move. She listens, redirects, and plants subtle distractions, making sure Xander and Philip stay locked in battle long enough for her to manipulate the board in her favor. To the brothers, she seems supportive, maybe even sympathetic, but in truth, she's laying down a web designed to keep her in control of Titan's future. But beneath her cool exterior, Gabby knows the risks. One slip, one overheard conversation, and her entire scheme could collapse like a house of cards. Both Kyriakis' men are dangerous in their own right, Xander with his brutal instincts, Philip with his cold precision. If either of them realizes she's exploiting their feud, the fallout could be catastrophic. Still, Gabby thrives under pressure. She reminds herself that she's survived worse, and that her ability to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast is what has always set her apart in Salem. The real question isn't whether she can play the game, it's how long she can keep her juggling act alive before the truth bursts wide open. Monday hints that time is running out. If her schemes unravel, the wrath of two furious Kyriakis brothers could destroy everything she's fought to build. Yet if she succeeds, she could once again cement herself as one of Salem's most formidable power players. Gwen Ryacek is a woman on the edge. For weeks she has felt pushed aside, her voice drowned out by louder players in Salem's endless game of power. On Monday, September 8th, her frustration finally boils over. With venom on her tongue and fire in her eyes, Gwen storms into E.J. Demera's office, determined to make herself impossible to ignore. She unleashes a torrent of accusations, about being dismissed, about being overlooked, about the constant comparisons that paint her as inferior. Her words drip with bitterness, each one laced with years of insecurity and resentment. She insists she deserves more influence, more recognition, more respect. Gwen doesn't just want a seat at the table, she wants to prove she belongs at the head of it. But EJ is not easily swayed. Calculating, cool, and always focused on his own agenda, he listens with thinly veiled impatience. His smirk suggests he views her rant as noise rather than leverage. Whether he dismisses her outright or offers empty words remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Gwen's desperation is reaching dangerous heights. If she cannot win power through persuasion, she may seek it through sabotage. Across town, Jack and Jennifer Devaux' world is shaken by unsettling news. The specifics are still clouded, but the impact is immediate and devastating. Jennifer's face falls, Jack's voice cracks, whatever they learn cuts deep. Is it tied to Gwen's ongoing chaos, or is this an entirely different storm barreling toward the Devaux family? The couple, long accustomed to weathering Salem's tempests, suddenly find themselves unsteady. Their love has carried them through countless trials, but this revelation threatens to destabilize their foundation in ways they never imagined. And for Gwen, the timing couldn't be worse. Her cries for attention risk being drowned out by a crisis that eclipses her schemes. Yet true to form, Gwen will not let silence suffocate her. She will plot, and she will strike again. Amid Salem's chaos, a quieter but equally powerful moment unfolds. Kat Green, often guarded and fiercely independent, takes a step that costs her more pride than any battle of words. She approaches Chad DiMera with an apology. For days, their relationship has been strained by secrets and misunderstandings. Kat's choices, some impulsive, some deliberate, have left Chad questioning her motives and her loyalty. On Monday, Kat sets aside her defenses and opens herself up in a way she rarely allows. Her voice trembles with emotion as she admits her mistakes. She speaks not only of her actions, but of the ripple effect they had on Chad's trust, on his sense of stability, on the fragile bond they were building. Chad listens intently, his expression a careful mask. Inside, he wrestles with conflicting emotions. Part of him aches to accept her remorse, to let compassion soften his skepticism. But another part, shaped by years of betrayal and heartbreak, warns him against lowering his guard. He has lost too much before to risk being blindsided again. Kat's sincerity, however, is undeniable. There's no manipulation in her tone, no calculation in her eyes, just raw regret and the hope that honesty might mend what deception fractured. The moment is delicate, almost sacred, a brief pause in the storm raging around Salem. Her apology doesn't magically fix everything, but it plants a seed. It suggests the possibility of healing, of reconciliation, of a path forward. Yet in true Salem fashion, even a tender gesture can carry explosive consequences. Will Chad embrace Kat's vulnerability, or will his doubts harden into walls she can never scale? Monday's exchange leaves the answer tantalizingly uncertain. Monday, September 8th, promises to be a roller coaster of emotions. Xander and Philip's combustible feud could ignite a new war within the Kuriakis family. Gabby, ever the schemer, fights to keep her empire intact as the walls close in. Gwen's fury collides with Jack and Jennifer's devastating revelation, creating fractures that may be impossible to mend. And in the middle of it all, Kat's apology to Chad offers a glimmer of humanity, though even that carries uncertainty. Salem proves once again that no truth stays buried and no secret stays safe. The only question is, who will survive the fallout?